it's Ruhi, and welcome back to our second episode of Real Talk. Today, I am coming to you with some great information, and we are going to step back a couple of steps to kind of talk about our why. You know, I had a couple of you listen to my podcast before we went live, and I wanted your feedback, and I got some great feedback. And let me tell you, if you work with me, you will know that I'm pretty a straight shooter, someone who will tell you like it is. But I also love when I get, good feedback. And so for me, I want to go back and kind of unpack the whole why so important. And if you haven't listened to the first episode, let me just kind of summarize it very quickly. If you are looking at changing your career for whatever reason, you need to figure out, why is it that you want to be in sales? Why is it that you want to do whatever it is that you want to do? And it may sound simplistic, but honestly, it's not. The why is your biggest foundation. It's your biggest foundation, the thing that kind of gets you out of bed in the morning. A lot of people lately have been, reaching out to me and telling me that, Ruhi, I'm thinking of a career change, and they've got great careers, but they're looking for a change. And my first question to them is always, why? Why are you looking at changing your career? And I'm not asking you why because I'm challenging you. I'm asking you why because it is a fundamental, important factor in the foundation of keeping you motivated and keeping you going. And it's quite interesting because when I was first told decades ago to come up with my why, I was like, well, because I want to do it, because I want to be in sales, and I want to, have the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. And, it just kind of rattled off all these things. But honestly, I didn't dig deep. And no matter what you do, this is a podcast about getting into sales, getting into real estate. As many of you know, I own my own real estate company. But before that, for the last 25, 30 years, I've been in real estate, from being a realtor to a real estate broker to being someone who's coached and also coaching. I've kind of been everywhere in real estate. And so it's very, very important to really dissect and dig deep into your why. So what I wanted to do is focus this episode on your motivation, your reasoning behind why you want to do sales or real estate or whatever career that, floats your boat. Yeah. Some of you may have caught it. I just corrected myself. I said sparks your boat last time. And I'm going to say that's kind of one of my Ruhiisms, which is I really kind of mess up little metaphors and things. And that's just kind of who I am. So we're going to keep it real. And I will tell you when I mess up. So I want to know what floats your boat. And what floats my boat and how I discovered it was I broke it down. I broke it down into a few bite-sized pieces, and I really, really had to spend weeks, maybe even a month on really kind of digging deep and finding out what I wanted to do. And you know what? It's not like it comes to you right away. And depending on where you are in your life, if you're a student just graduating out of college, or you're someone who is switching careers, you're not going to immediately know your why. Your why comes from things that make you are at your current age, at your current lifestyle. So your why will always be evolving. And so what I'm going to share with you is my current why. It may not have been my why when I started out in the business, but it's my why now. And so what I'd like to do is kind of break it down and kind of break down my why, which will give you an idea of what I'm expecting you to do. So one, I want you to break it down into different little bullet points. And here's what I did. So for me, number one was my faith. My faith is very important to me. And just having faith, that is very important to me. Two is my family. Third are my friends. Four is fitness. I like to work out, and it actually balances me and makes me very happy. And 5 is finance. So I kind of broke it down into the 5 F's. You could break it down in whichever way you want. Now, then after I broke it down into 5, I then took my different 5, my faith, my family, my friends, my fitness, and my finance, and I broke each of those down into subcategories. So in my faith, what is, my subcategory is philanthropy. So one of the things that I put out into the universe and I dream to do is be, philanthropic in giving big. And right now I am blessed where I do give, and I try to give as much as I can. And I like to, if I buy something, I give something. If I have gotten a new blanket, another blanket will go to somebody who needs it. If I buy clothes, whatever it is, I buy something, something goes away. We're in the process of purchasing a car, and I've got my old car from 2008. And, I'm not going to have it sitting outside rotting. I would rather give it to someone who's going to give me blessings and pass it on. So that's where that whole philanthropy comes in. Now, with that, there is the other part, which is seeing good in all of God's creations. So again, if you've heard my first podcast, that one of the things that stuck with me in my life was a message given to me by one of my mentors who had told me, Ruhi, you need to take off those rose-colored glasses. The world isn't as great as you see it. Well, you know what I've decided as I get older, I've realized, you know what, Chris, I'm going to wear my rose-colored glasses because I wish to see the world the way I believe people can be. And one of those quotes that sticks with me or has been with me for a long time is, if you want to see the world change, then start with changing yourself. And I may have butchered it, but that's kind of the gist of it. And so for me, I would rather see everyone as good. I'd rather walk around with a very clean heart, a clean attitude, and the attitude of everyone is innately good. And now, I'm going to have people push back and say, well, what about the people who are the murderers, the serial killers, the whatever? Well, you know what? At some point in their life, they were good. I don't know what's happened to them. I don't know what made them what they are, but I do believe that everyone has good in them. And I mean, even if there's a glimmer of good, and let's say that, 90 to 95% of, God's creations are good. And so that's me, my rose-colored glasses. I'm not asking you to take that opinion. This falls under my why. So I'm just sharing just so that you're able to dig deep and find out your why. So that's one thing. The third thing is I've decided under my faith that in that same gist of seeing everyone as being good, I will on a daily basis make it a conscious effort to smile and be nice to people who may just need that. They may need that smile. To me, one of my beliefs is that smile is like charity. And you just don't know what's happening in people's lives. And I think just smiling at someone and kind of being the bigger person really does pay it forward, play it forward, whatever you want to call it. And so, that's one of my things under my faith. I will, as a form of charity, smile and try to be kind and say something nice to someone, just to make their day. Hey, you look nice today. Hey, I like how that looks. Oh, whatever. And I'm not saying I'm going to make up things. I'm going to be sincere. So I will find good, I'm sure. And then the other thing I do, which many of you know who know me well, is Fridays is my day of giving. So whatever it is, you give. And to me, it kind of just is my way of being grateful. The second thing is family. My family brings me joy. And they bring me an abundance of joy, and being with them, spending time with them, talking to them, learning from them, and just giggling and laughing with them, that brings me joy. And that's one of the reasons I decided to shift careers into real estate, because it allowed me to have more time with them. It allowed me to cook and bake for them. it allowed me to, go on vacations that I would normally wouldn't be able to go on with them because I've got kind of the freedom of time. So they are very important to me. My friends, the same thing. They bring me joy. They, again, they bring you joy, they bring you grief, but no matter what, you love them. And that's what I could say about my friends and my family. My fitness keeps me moving and my blood flowing and, having that zest and that energy. I like to, listen to music. I like to listen to podcasts. I like listening to lectures while I'm walking, while I'm cleaning, while I'm doing something active. I think it's very, very important for me to be active. And I always actually tell a lot of my coaching clients, my team members, I tell them that you should actually have some sort of 45-minute to 1 hour fitness routine for yourself because it's good for your health. It gets the blood flowing and it really does spark your motivation. So and then my final why is finance. Finance allows me to splurge, on all of the things above, on my faith, on my family, on my friends, on my fitness, and it allows me to go and create memories with going on trips. And as many of you know, my one indulgence in life are handbags. So it allows me to go and buy handbags, and I set goals for myself with that. But these 5 things are my why. This is what gets me out of bed in the morning. It makes me happy. It makes me have a goal, and it kind of grounds me. So funny enough, I just actually read, and I didn't read, I actually just read a chapter, but it was just so ironic. It's a book called Ikigai, not Ikigai, Ikigai. It is based on a community in Okinawa, Japan. And these are people who have the longest longevity of their life in the world. And that just was an oxymoron. So they have the longest lifespans in the world. And they kind of did a deep dive into what makes these people have these long lifespans. And it almost, brought me to tears that Ikigai is the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. And if you haven't read it, or if you haven't heard of it, I actually, funny enough, stole it from my husband, who is a avid nerd, and he buys a ton of books and he reads a ton. And so he's got a new book being ordered on Amazon all the time. And so I found this book and I was blown away. And, he hid it from me and he said, "Okay, I know what you're going to say." And I said, "No, I don't even know what it's about." And he said, "It's exactly about what you talk about. I don't think you know that your why is the same as what the Japanese refer to as Ikigai." And Ikigai, I have to tell you, I've only read a chapter of it, but essentially it brought me to tears. And the reason it brought me to tears is because I so 100% believe that this is exactly what I'm saying. Ikigai, what is the meaning of my life? Is the point just to live longer, or should I seek a higher purpose? Why do some people know what they want and have a passion for life, while others languish in confusion? At some point, the mysterious word ikigai, the concept which translates roughly as the happiness of always being busy and knowing why. And essentially, this book talks about, it goes into a bunch of different stuff. It actually goes into a little bit of logotherapy as well, which again, let me tell you, these are all new concepts to me, or those words are new to me. The concepts, scary enough, are concepts I believe in. I had no idea that there was a science behind it, or these people who, give a lot of validity to having a purpose in life. But let me tell you that if you have something that you wake up for every day and you know what your mission is and why you're doing what you're doing for that reason, it makes a lot of sense. And so I start my day off super early. I start with my meditation and praying. It really helps ground me. And that's what gets me out of bed. And the next thing that gets me out of bed is being able to have breakfast with my kids, or with one of my kids. One of my other kids is off to college, but with one of my kids, and then getting them off to school. And then what keeps me, I have my fitness routine. I'll reach out to my friends and my clients. And those are all things that kind of in around my universe. And so I really want you to be able to find your why, your primary motivation. It's very, very important to really dig deep. And if you have questions, or you are really having a hard time thinking about it, one of the things that I do is I keep a little gratitude journal. And in that journal, I talk about different things. And, just look at yourself, stop and look at what makes you happy. And I go back and I look and I go into my discovery mode. And once you start, you're always adding things to your list of things that tickle you. And so on my list, I've got, I love to bake. Whenever I put things in my composting bin, it brings me some weird satisfaction. It's funny and it sounds very weird, but again, that goes back to my faith, keeping the planet clean, making sure that we are giving back to the planet. So, those are a couple of things that I've written down that are a part of my 5F. Creating artistry, real estate. It's a real estate company. And I don't know if I've expanded on this in any of my other social media platforms, but artistry real estate essentially is the art of real estate. But the whole tree part of it is we've got the tree of life, but we also have, for every sale we do, we plant a tree. And if our clients don't want the tree in their new home, then we usually plant a tree somewhere in the world on behalf of our clients. And so that brings me extreme joy and, continues the life cycle. And so for me, I just hope that this allows you to go and really dig deep into your why, so that for our next episode, you've got down your why. You've got clarity on why you are doing what you're doing, or why you're switching careers. What is it that makes you happy and makes you want to do, the things that you do, makes you want to get out of bed? For me, success equals having that sort of clarity in your mind, having that sort of happiness and joy, knowing that you actually know why you're doing what you're doing, and that your life has some sort of a purpose. And so with that, I wish you all the best. I can't wait to share the next episode with you. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me at realtalkwithruhi@gmail.com. Again, that's Real Talk with Ruhi, all spelled out, RUHI. And if you have questions or anything, I would love to answer them. Until then, I will speak to you in the next episode. And I hope you can follow me on other forms of social media. And I hope you're getting something out of this. Take care. Bye for now.